Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to the AAA session here, Ask an Analyst at Market Traders Institute. It's 1 o'clock on the 14th of June. Happy Monday, everybody. If you're out there typing in a wire, yes, you can see my picture, my screen. We're going to be going through some Forex pairs today. We'll talk about a couple of stocks, look at some cryptos, and if you have any questions, let me know. So let's go ahead and get started for today's session. I thought it'd be important to start out with the dollar index. Here is a tool that I look at every single day. This is a currency strength chart. This is a nice little tool that will give you some real-time information. This updates every 5 minutes. You can see what is the strongest currency pair versus the weakest currency pair. And what I thought was interesting is if you take a look at Friday of last week, the 11th, I think it was the 11th. It, in fact, was the 11th. We had a nice little run with the dollar showing some strength. Now, for the last couple of months, have been looking for some levels to get back in, favoring some dollar strength. I think that it's probably going to be, maybe a trade that takes 2 weeks, takes 4 weeks, maybe takes 6 months. But I think we have some dollar strength at some really great technical spots. My favorite currency pairs, I'll type them up on the screen if anybody is taking notes. Aussie dollar, I am looking for a correction to 7,600. So I'm looking to sell the Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, I'm looking for a correction to 70, 50, or 7,000. So again, I'm looking for downward movement on the New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD, I'm looking for a correction to 1.2400 and possibly up to 2,600. Maybe bigger. But the oil factor is going to have to play into that, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Dollar Swiss, correction to 1.2, actually no, it's not point, it's 9,300 to 9,350. So these are my top 4 right now dollar crosses that I like, and these are the directions that I'm trading them. So I'm looking to short the Aussie dollar. I'm already short on the Aussie dollar. One of my robots, my Price Action Pro, is currently short on the Aussie dollar. It is short around 78.75. And current price is 7,700. So we're up about 150, 160 pips on that trade right now. And looking for some more downside. I have chart alarm set at recent lows on that Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, I have a chart alarm set below Friday's low. We had a nice little move, and I'm still targeting that 7,050 to 7,000 area. Dollar CAD, we are on the cusp, and this is really important. We have a monthly target at 1.2150. If the dollar CAD can close above that, current price right now live is 1.2143. So we need to see price get above that. All right, if price can get above 2150 and close higher, I think we can make a pretty fast move to 2400, possibly more. And realistically, I'm looking at something right now that's currently above 2600 for a target. But that's going to be, I need to see some more evidence first. And then dollar Swiss, I'm just going to sit on. I think this trade I'm willing to hang on to for the next maybe 3 to 6 months. High probability target for me and profit level is 9,300 to, I would even say 9,350. Let me change this here on the chart. 9,350 to 9,400 on the dollar Swiss. So I like these levels here on those dollar crosses. Okay. All right. So a little dollar action there. One thing also to take a note of is the 10-year Treasury note. The TNX has been steadily dropping. We were below the 1.5 level, and mortgage rates are going down. They've probably dropped about 0.2% or 20 basis points in the last month or so. The question is inflation the real deal? Keep in mind that depending on where you're measuring inflation, if you measure it from 2019 levels to present, inflation's up about 2.5%. The Fed's been talking about this inflation target of 2% for many, many years. So the disparity there is that if you measure it from last year at this time to present, that's when we have like the off-the-charts inflation that everyone's so concerned about. So I'm not saying that we can't consider what happened with the COVID crash and everything last year, but we had such a trench to dig out of in, hospitality and leisure and tourism, and certain sectors were hurt so badly by COVID that, the cost of things were affecting them and certainly affecting more businesses than others. And this is why that K-shaped recovery has been this ongoing conversation of, who is recovering, how's the economy recovering. And right now, the reality is there are more jobs available than probably ever, well, I'm not going to say ever before, but more jobs available right now in the U.S. than in a long time. So there is a major labor shortage going on right now. And I think that's also, that's a problem. That's an issue that the U.S. has created because we've extended unemployment benefits. We're trying to stay, very accommodative and very dovish in a sense, monetary policy wise. And that being said, it's like we have a lot of jobs available. Private sector is offering, reasonable, if not higher, minimum wages with growth potential, bonuses, incentives, and people are still not returning to work. So that'll change. I mean, eventually, if you want a job and there's jobs available, then get a job. But that is probably why we're not, seeing the markets and the economy on this true path to recovery. Okay. So nice to see everybody. Hey, Jimmy's in the house. We got Denise here this afternoon. Gurmy and David, nice to see all of you. All right. So let's take a look. Dollar index, we're good. I'd like to take it U.S. Trip down memory lane, U.S. oil. So technically speaking, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so previous levels here on oil around $65 were breached. I thought that was going to hold at first and be nice resistance. We are drifting higher. My outlook on gold or oil is this. If we drift, currently oil is sitting at 71.08. Okay, so just above $71. If we hit this level, major multi-year resistance at 75. Between $75 and $76. So I am looking for the price action to suggest that we head back down. So I'm looking for resistance. Now, a lot of times price can be perfectly telegraphed. And this is, okay, price is going to hit resistance at $75, $76 and start to look to fall. Other times price might be stubbornly higher towards $78, $79, $80 before it turns. But from the technical outlook, I'm looking for oil to head down into these areas. I think if we end up coming up to that $76 resistance, it's either, I'm looking for a big fall down towards like the mid 50s, and then we have a corrective wave down even further towards this area. Past resistance becomes future support in the mid 40s. So we could have a large correction coming on oil, right? We could also have a 1, 2, 3 wave correction on oil back into these lows here at $55, $56. So profit levels for me, if I'm short on oil, which at this area I'm certainly interested in shorting oil, then my profit target is $57. Okay, if we go lower than that, that is gravy. If we go lower than that, that's big money opportunities. Eliminate risk, let your trailing stop losses run, and then see if this takes place. Now, the reason I'm showing this on oil is because I also think there's an amazing alignment on the Canadian dollar basket. I think the Canadian dollar is set up for some really good weakness. And let's just start off with Aussie CAD. Okay, Aussie CAD. We have come back down to a yearly pivot right here. Okay, I think that we could come back up into at least this trend line. Okay, at the very least, but we could also, coil a little bit more, take a little bit longer, create some type of bottoming formation like a falling wedge, and then explode much higher in Aussie CAD and maybe have a 300 to 400 pip move. And so I am bullish right now in Aussie CAD. My targets on Aussie CAD right now, I've been buying off the lows between 93.50 and 92.50. I'm looking for levels back into 96 and 9,700. That's kind of my area one for profit. If we come all the way back up to these highs, just shy of parity, PARITY, if we're getting back to 1.00, that's my profit level number 2. So I don't know if this is, high to low, lower high to lower low, and then this whole thing becomes a much larger harmonic pattern to the upside on a higher time frame, or if this is simply right here, right? We pull halfway back and we go all the way back up, and this just becomes a support level, S for support, and then R for resistance. Maybe we have support at 92.50. Maybe we have resistance at 1.00. And the Aussie CAD continues to trade in a big range. But both of those to me spell I'm looking long on Aussie CAD and I'm taking profits back towards 9,600 or higher, possibly all the way back up to 1.00. Okay, let's keep going in alphabetical order here. Aussie CAD, I'm talking CAD basket. So Aussie CAD, let's go CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss is another one that I would like to be long on CAD Swiss back at this past resistance area. So if we bounce here, I'm long. Bounce here, I'm long. Okay? But that means the CAD Swiss has to drop to those levels before I buy it. So if you were with me in the Flex Trading Room, we were long Flex Trading Room here. We were long again in Flex Trading Room here. So we had a nice chunk of profit. Okay? We had a nice chunk of profit. Now we're looking for more. So I'm looking for this past resistance here to hold, this past level support to hold. I think if we have a high, low, lower high, equal low, okay, even an equal low, I would take a chance to buy that and look for a higher high. So I want to buy the CAD Swiss at a better price. Now currently, I want to buy this at a better price, which means I want this to fall. So it still fits my theory of I see the CAD getting weaker. I see oil getting weaker. I see the basket getting weaker for the Canadian dollar. So if CAD Swiss drops, that means that the CAD basket is getting weaker. If the CAD Swiss drops into these attractive past resistance becomes support levels, then I'm more of a long-term bull on the CAD Swiss. But it has to fall from right now. We're falling at least like 200 pips. At least 200 pips before I'm looking for something. Okay. Andreas asks, what's your favorite currency pair and your time frame? Andreas, if you trade with me at all in my Flex Room or you join me on my YouTube session for my Pulver Report, you'll see me do a lot of analysis on the daily and weekly charts. When it comes to currency pairs, I have a couple of favorites. I mean, I really like the Aussie New Zealand. I like the Aussie CAD, the New Zealand CAD. I like the Euro Swiss. I tend to like currency pairs that are really low volatility, really boring. And the reason I like that is because if I have to, I can work through positions. I can level myself in, go for short-term targets. I can position trade them. There's just a little bit more maneuverability and workability on some of those positions, but I'm always planning on a higher time frame. Like 95% of my trades are all done on daily, weekly charts. So it's higher time frame, awareness, and then looking for lower time frame precision to get in and find the levels exactly where I want to trade at. Okay. All right, so that's CAD Swiss. What else we have? CAD Yen. CAD Yen is another one I'm looking for some downside. Now, this one may not be done yet. I think that the alignments on the CAD Swiss are pretty fantastic. Right in here, we just haven't broken yet. So I am looking for CAD Yen to drop. I just think the issue is we're not breaking lows, we're not breaking lows, we're not breaking lows. And if this is going to continue to go up a little bit higher, I can't force this CAD Yen to go down without confirmation. Okay, so if the CAD Yen's going to break the structure, now we're talking downward moves of possibly 300 to 400 pips, which I am absolutely wanting. And I see that happening. We need confirmation. Okay, oil probably has to turn the corner. If oil turns the corner from 75, 76 resistance down to 55, we should see the CAD reflect that as well. Okay, so little confirmation goes a long way on the CAD Yen, but I still see the technical setup falling back into this level, lots of past resistance back here around 84 and past resistance here around 82. We're currently trading at 90 and change. So, I mean, I would say this is what I'm doing in my trades. I'm currently short around the 90 handle. Like that, my break even's around 90 on the CAD Yen. Okay. Now, if I hold short at 90 and we get down into 87 or 8,600, I know that we could come back to this level and still have more profit, but I would be pretty satisfied with an 86 to 8,700 a profit level from being short at 9,000. So again, maybe a 300 to 400 pip move on the CAD Yen. Let's go New Zealand CAD. Actually, no, let's go EURCAD. EURCAD, if you look left on the chart, higher time frame, the EURCAD may come back down into these lows. And I say may because we are sitting at this amazing pocket level right now where we're starting to look to build off these lows. So I am looking at this. I think this area that we have stalled, we're either going to go one more push lower, like high to low, lower, high. We might go one more push lower. And if that's the case, fine. I'll come down to these levels. I'll buy more EURCAD, and I'll look for a trade back to the upside. So I do like EURCAD long. I'm willing to hold this one a little bit. I'm holding right now current prices around 47 and change. 47.17 actually. So between 4,700 down to 4,400, small positions, looking for confirmation to add to this as a winning trade. My first profit target is back up towards this high, which is around 5,200. I really think that the EURCAD could come all the way back up to this high at 5,800. So if you're patient on the EURCAD, I think you could look at a trade from the low fours, like 4,500, all the way up towards 5,800. So 1,000 pips. Okay, that's a good chunk of profit potential on that EURCAD. Pound CAD. Pound CAD is another one. We're at 7,134. Man, it is really difficult. I like the setup a lot, actually. It's just really annoying right now because we have clearly some indecision. In fact, this goes now for how many days? Back in early May, we've had a solid month of consolidation on the pound CAD. Now, to me, what I'm looking for is, again, if we break to the upside, I'm looking for pound CAD to run pretty swiftly up towards 7,400. Between 7,400, 7,500, that's my profit level on the pound CAD. Okay, now it could be more difficult. We could have this high holding, this low holding. Maybe we bounce around here for the next 5 to 10 days. Maybe it's more indecision. But if and when we break out, I'm expecting this to move pretty fast. And traders know that if you're with me in my flex room, I like trades that give us a chance to possibly add to our winning trades and take that ride for a nice big profit trade up towards 7,500. So if we have confirmation on pound CAD, I am definitely looking to go long and add to my current position. My price action pro robot, we got picked up around 69.87. I love that entry. We're up, 150, 160 pips on it right now and looking to add more. So if we get pullbacks, we'll add. If we get breakouts, we'll add. But my destination here is around 74 to 74.50. New Zealand CAD is another one. Okay, pound Aussie Mazzino, take a look at that one. Fibs on this one, sorry there, Googly King. What currency pair are you talking about on fibs? I can take a look at the fibs, but I'm just giving you my higher time frame outlook with structure, support, resistance, trend line, stuff like that. Pound Aussie, we can take a look at. Let me finish these CAD crosses. New Zealand CAD. So this one's interesting. I think New Zealand CAD has potential on the backside of this trend line to hold. I think if we hold these levels here, New Zealand CAD, I'm looking for, maybe some type of falling wedge for this thing to work its way back up towards 9,000. This one might be a lot like the Aussie CAD. Maybe it is range bound. Maybe this is support right here. Maybe this is resistance right here. Okay. So right now I'm currently long on New Zealand CAD and I'm going to target 9,000. I'd be pretty happy with that. If, price continues to fall, but fall slowly, then I'll continue to look for opportunities to add or just simply wait for confirmation to break and then look for some type of falling wedge that I can trade and be bullish on. Okay. New Zealand CAD. So I'm long on it. Like I said, I'm probably in early. I'm probably in a little bit, too early, but I'm in small and I'm anticipating next probably 200 to 500 pip direction on the New Zealand CAD is bullish for me. Dollar CAD. We did dollar CAD. If this one gets above 21.50, I want to be long. I'm looking for levels to hold around 1.20. Safe levels for profit, like I said, 2,400 and 2,600. But we need price to get above 21.50 and close and stay above it. That gets me to all of the CAD crosses. Let's go for Mazen Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, so I have this one set up with my Price Action Pro robot. I am currently short with this range. My robot started to sell the Pound Aussie, and I'm looking for it to keep going lower. Now, I don't know if that's all driven by pound weakness or that's driven by Aussie strength. Don't know, don't care. But if we don't close above these highs, this isn't invalidated. In fact, if we stay below this resistance, I am a seller because I'm looking to sell high, looking to take profit at previous lows, and take profit here at support. So this range, by the way, from high and low, if we go down, current price down to these recent lows, we're talking about a 900 pip range on the pound Aussie. So I don't think this is a bad trade at all. We have really good resistance right there, and we have some solid support right there. So that's my current pound Aussie trade. I'm looking to stay short. And my goal again is to be short, stop loss area above 8,600, and I'm looking for this to push lower towards 7,600 or 7,500. So I like short on the pound Aussie. Let's see here. New Zealand CAD, we did CAD Yen. We did that one, fibs on CAD Yen. Yeah, this one should have hit some, this one, if I look at the weekly chart, we should have definitely hit some Fibonacci targets, right? If you start this with a weekly chart from this, COVID crash low, you should see, if I start a fib right here, okay, you can see here that number one, this current AB boundary on the weekly chart, it's at a really interesting spot. Okay, now, yes, it could extend up to the D extension, right? We could go all the way to the 618 extension around 95. However, one thing we typically see is after we have an AB boundary established and we have not pulled back to the 382 or not pulled back to the 50 or the 618, a lot of times that shallow Fibonacci level, this is a 236 pullback. What happens is we'll have a shallow pullback, the push up to the 18127, and then price will work its way back down into the AB boundary again. And I really believe that we can come back down to challenge this low, which is around 8,600. And so that is why with confirmation up near these highs around that 18127 resistance, this is why I'm looking for that trend line to break. This is why I'm looking for this to slide back down into this area. If we do end up coming all the way back to hit the 382 or the 50, awesome. That's an easy trade. But confirmation goes a long ways, especially on these yen pairs, because it might just keep drifting, maybe near the 618 extension. But if we break this structure, I think we're looking to fall all the way back down to the B high or that breakout pocket around 8,600. So that's my Fibonacci on the weekly chart. All right, good on that one. McKinley joins in, says, check out gold. Okay, let's take a look at gold and silver. So gold is at 1864. 1864. I do like gold. I am looking for gold to settle back into some lows. Let me go to a daily chart here. Okay, so a couple of points I'm trying to make on gold. I did take a long trade on gold, and I did recently close that for profit. So I was long. We had a double bottom right here. We had a nice little breakout. I was long at the lows, and I was long on the breakout. And I ended up taking profit recently at 1,900 on gold. So pretty nice trade. Now, I'm looking for this resistance to allow us to set this back up for the channel to hold, have this be a low, have this be a high, and we're looking for this as basically a swing. If I use Fibonacci's from this low to high, I'm looking for this to settle back into some type of 382 or 50 pullback. So if I could buy gold, if I'm going to buy gold, I'm looking at 1825 to 1795. This is my window right here. If I can buy gold in this window, in fact, let me highlight this with a box. So if I can buy in this window right here, that's my buy zone, and I would take this trade up towards the 18127, and I would take it up towards the previous high right here. So my outlook on gold is a little bit more of a pullback towards the low 1800s, and then I'm looking to reestablish some longs, get long in here, target the 18127, which is above 1950, and then anything towards the highs. This is the 2020 highs around 2060. So I do like long on gold. Take a look at silver. Silver. We're stuck in a range on silver. All right, we're stuck in a range on silver. So I don't mind the range because I bought it nice and low around $22. But I want to get out with some profit. And so we're in this kind of last step right here. I bought it nice and low. I'm looking for this to try to make an attempt to run back to these highs around $29. Now, having this in at $22 all the way up to 20, if I get out at $29, that's not a bad chunk of profit. $7 movement divided by $22 cost, that's a 31.8% profit. So it's a good chunk of profit on silver. What I'm wondering, though, is will silver hit resistance and come all the way back down? Or will silver build here, run up to these highs, and pause, and then break out? If you look at this trend, this low to this high, that is a very strong impulsive trend. And so this could all be corrective right now, looking for more upside. So part of me wants to hang on to my shares that I have in SLV, simply because if we break and go higher, I think we could run, maybe silver goes to $40, maybe it goes to $45. So I would like to hold those longs. But at the same time, if I part ways with this trade and I buy it up here, I'm going to buy small up here, because if I bought it here, I would just cost average in again, and I buy it lower at 22 if it comes all the way back. But I don't love buying it high at $30. Okay, what I'd rather do is hold my 22s and just have the patience to sit and hold it a little bit longer. If my 22s came all the way back down to 22 again, I'll just buy more. and then I'll offset it with some profit at 29. So, if you give this one enough time, I think that silver will be, at 29 for some profit taking if anybody bought in these lows. Or it can break above 30 and go. I mean, we could have silver being a nice leg to the upside. Okay. So that's some gold and silver. Let's talk cryptos for a moment. I shared this morning in my Pulver report. That's my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chris Pulver. I'm live on Mondays and Fridays. On Bitcoin and GBTC and some of these other cryptos, we have this pretty amazing. I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can load it up here. So I'm going to load up this chart here and take a look at some of these cryptos. Okay. So Bitcoin, if you can see this blue line on my screen, it is sitting around $42,454. All right, so 42450. That is a monthly target. Now, the reason I'm interested in that is because if we hit it, if you're long at 30K on Bitcoin and this runs up to 42,000, that's a pretty nice chunk of profit for a short-term gain. And so I am short-term oriented on my cryptos right now. That's a 39% gain, actually, if you bought those recent lows on Bitcoin. Now, the reason I'm interested in the short-term stuff is I still have Bitcoin way back here at $4,000. I have a majority of my Bitcoin profits protected at 60K. And I converted, about 90% of my Bitcoin into dollar cash. So I have money, profits, looking to reallocate, okay? Now, I want to buy this as low as possible. So what I'm looking for is if we have this indecision on Bitcoin and it stays here for a little bit, I think we just hang out. Don't do anything. Just wait. Mining costs are down here around 20,000. In fact, mining costs have been going a little bit down recently, which in my opinion is not exactly a bullish sign for cryptos at this time. Okay. But nevertheless, I'm looking to buy these lows and take some profit at these June pivots. This is what I talked about this morning. So Bitcoin is one of them. If it hits 42,000 and change, I'm probably going to take some short-term profits. If I bought it at 30, that's about a 25 to 30% gain. Ethereum. I did take an add-on trade at Ethereum. I'm sitting in Ethereum around $400. I took a majority of my profit up above $4,000. I got back in at $1,850. We have this monthly target at $29.38. So if my level at $1,850 gets to that monthly target, that is a 56% gain. I'm going to take some profit there. Litecoin. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is 100% because I managed to get in here at the low around 120, and to that monthly target, that's 90%. I'm going to take some profit there. Okay, we have other ones. If you're looking at some of these major coins and you have the ability to look at some pivots, look at the June monthly pivot. The reason that's important is because I think we're going to find a lot of those levels. Here's XLM. I actually got a chart alarm going off this weekend. That's the one cool thing about cryptocurrencies. You can trade them all week. Okay, now it's not great if you're like actively working 7 days a week trading cryptocurrencies, but over the weekends, there's still some movement. Chart alarms still go off. And so I like to buy low. And I bought it here around 31 cents. It's up to 34 right now. And this monthly pivot is at 50 cents. So can I take a 31 cent buy to 50 cents for profit and make, 70, 80%? I hope so. And that's what I'm looking to do. So that turns into profit. That's about 60% on XLM USD, which is Stellar Lumen. Other ones, MANA is another one that I'm interested in. MANA, if this one flushes back down to 50 cents, I will buy some more. From 50 cents at the equal lows to $1 with that monthly target, that's 100% upside. And that's not asking for price to make new highs. That's one thing I like about some of these targets out here is even if we hit it in the short term, we're looking at 40, 50, 60+% gains on just going back to a level that price can come back in balance. One thing I have noticed, the reason I love Forex so much, the reason I'm liking crypto so much is that they are technically obedient instruments. And when you look at things like Fibonacci's and pullbacks and pockets and targets and pivots, and they find them over and over, you can trade with a lot of confidence there. You have to use good equity management. You have to have some patience. But do I think that we can find some of these targets? I do. And that's what I'm interested in trading. Okay. So that's it. If you have any other questions or you have any other charts you'd like me to take a look at, feel free. As far as the major indices, things I'm watching, chart alarms are still sitting at highs and lows on the SPY. We haven't broken the trend line. I remain cautiously bullish. I know if Tyson was here with me today, we'd have this conversation of this melt up continuing. He and I are running our equities on demand class together. We had some great profits this week from recent trades. We had a great setup today on the stock BIDU. We're going to talk about we're kind of creating a new strategy over last week. We had a great discussion on owning some stocks and what to do with these option plays around them. We're calling it our Cyclone strategy. We're going to see if that name sticks, but we're having some fun with it. And we like collecting some credits. We like being the insurance company out there that can, basically say, look, I'll own it here. But if you want to get rid of it, you're going to pay me to get rid of it. I'll own it here. And also, if we have a bullish direction or a bearish direction, or we're neutral, and that's one thing that we like is we are very directionally neutral on a lot of strategies. And that means if price just moves up, down, or sideways, we have our options positioned in a way that we can make some money. So that's been a lot of fun, and traders are doing really well. Like, in fact, we have one student, Linda. I'm going to keep bringing up Linda because her fills on her option trades are amazing. She's using the same broker that we use, and it's just like she's getting filled. It's incredible. She's getting better prices than we are as far as like cheaper options, and then she's getting better credits and better take profits. And again, that just is a testament to our process, which is when we set up the trades, we set them up with certain parameters of this is what I'm willing to pay, and that's what you get filled at. And then once you're looking for profit, this is where I'm looking for profit. And what's been really exciting to see for Linda in her case is she sets those up with us, takes the trades where we do, gets a slightly better fill, and then sets the profit target up and gets kind of slipped in a positive direction. So it's a great problem to have as a trader. So anyway, but the drift up, the melt up continues. The path of least resistance remains bullish. I know that, economically and fundamentally right now, we had the G7 meeting this past weekend. There's a big play in climate change and getting back involved with green technology in this reduce oil dependencies. And also there's green technology opportunity. The EV sector. I had somebody email me this morning or comment to me on my YouTube channel this morning. What about electronic vehicles? Are they buy and hold? One thing that Tyson and I also had running in our equities on demand course, we were long on RIDE, and we had a whole scenario playing out on RIDE. We said it was long-term speculation. Well, what was pretty amazing is we didn't have to wait super long-term because we were in here at $9, $8, $7 and change, and this thing ran all the way to $16. So I ended up getting in at 6.96 with a low of 6.70. So I'm 20, 30 cents off the lows, and I took this thing up to nearly the highs at 16. And so I've worked a couple of different angles, close out on the stock, and this was interesting timing. I guess it's because we're paying attention, and we get to run something like equities on demand multiple days a week. But we were saying, look, if you're in at 9, 8, 7, whatever, protect your profits at 14 plus, protect your profits at 15 plus, and boom, we had this pretty awful news for RIDE. Where essentially they're like, well, we're kind of going through another round of fundraising. We're not quite sure we're going to be able to meet all our capital requirements. And so it could be a little bit of a news scare. There's still some time for this company to sort things out, but hopefully this is a type of play that, longer term in the EV market, this can be a legitimate competitor. If they can bring a electric vehicle to market ahead of Ford's F-150 Lightning, ahead of Ford's Ranger, whatever they're doing in 2022, then that's a big thing. And if that could be, a fleet type vehicle for Amazon or the post office or whatever, this hopefully is a legitimate company. But we'll find out. We had some good speculation. We had some pops on here. We had Workhorse is another one I've been interested in. Workhorse, I've been long on this one since the lows at $13, bought it down to the lows at 10, took some profit on Workhorse last week when it was up to 18. I'm now looking for dips to buy. I'm looking to stay long on Workhorse back up towards $24, $25. So the EV market, EV stocks, there's probably 10 or 15 of them that I've talked about in my high octane class. I have a whole watch list around the EV sector. There's probably 10 plus stocks that we looked at and trying to trade and be bullish on. And then what we've been talking about with some of our speculation plays in equities on demand. So it's a sector that can offer a ton of returns. There is a lot of volatility. There's certainly a lot of speculation. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing because when it moves fast. and we can turn some nice profits. Okay. Cardano. Yeah, let me take a look at that one. That's a crypto. Cardano, US dollar. So that is ADAUSD. ADAUSD. So this is at $1.56. Surprisingly, so I mean, simply looking at the chart, I would say this: if we are going to come back and revisit the low, which is around $1.05, I'm just going to buy more of it. If we hit $1.05, I'm interested in buying some Cardano at $1.05. And I'll just put lows here on the chart. Okay, so if we hit lows, I'm interested in buying. We might have some sideways movement on Cardano between $1, let's say $1.40 and $1.80. That's not too small. $1.40 to $1.80. That's about 34 to 35% in range trading. But ideally, like I said, if this is a flush down, some indecision right in here, I could see Cardano heading back down to the lows. I'd like to buy it there at $1. If it goes a little bit lower, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, let's say 60 cents. Let's say back to this whole breakout point. Let's say all these missed targets and pivots get hit. I could buy Cardano again at 80 cents or 40 cents and hold it. And then my target's going to be the 2021 level, which is $2 and change. So if you're looking at long term, you're looking at levels you want to buy, and you're looking at the 2021 highs for profit. And we're talking, hundreds of % of profit opportunities in these cryptos. But it's probably not going to happen overnight. I think that we have quite a bit of money that was made in cryptos in this last run in 2020 to present. And I think a lot of that profit is now being put into stocks and growth. And it's, the riskier things. Like maybe somebody doesn't want to trade Bitcoin and watch it drop 50%. Just like somebody buying stocks doesn't want to watch their stock drop 50%. So what do? You take your crypto profits and you throw it into a stock for the opportunity to go higher because the stocks have been beat down. So you buy low. It's the same game, right? You buy low, you sell high. We've had a nice, great run from 10K on Bitcoin to $60,000+. And altcoins outperform that. So I think that if cryptos settle down a little bit and cool off a little bit, then that money that's been made is going to start looking for other assets to trade. Growth opportunities is there. The EV sector is a pretty promising one for right now. But as with everything else, there's risk in trading. You know the deal, right? All right, traders, I'm going to go and let you go for today. Happy Monday again. Thanks for joining me today for Ask an Analyst. I'll see you next week. Myself, Tyson will probably be hosting next week. I'd like to bring on somebody else as well. Maybe we can have Tad Devan join us or Tion Crick and just get a couple of more opinions out there. So you'll see lots of us, you hear from us, but if you would take a moment and just hit that thumbs up button for me really quickly, like the video, pass this channel along, pass people into the Ask an Analyst, pretty simple stuff, right? You want to talk Forex, stocks, cryptos, you want to talk about directions, what are we trading? This is the session, right? So good stuff. All right, have a great week. I'll see you this week in the Flex Trading Room. All of us will see you in our trading rooms, our Equities on Demand class, stocks, options, you name it. We'll trade it. Okay, everybody, take care. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.